So hi guys, shooting the Neowise Comet at the moment. Everyone else has been out and about doing it, so I thought, well, I need to go and get it really. Shooting the A7R4. This is with the 135 G Master f1.8, ISO 6400 and 1/25th of a second in 4K. I just thought I'll try and video it, see what actually happens. Using manual focus, it was trying to focus on the bush there, but I was trying to use that as a foreground interest. So I basically just manual focus, very easy. I could see exactly what was going on, so very easy to look at. But as you can see there on the left hand side, you'll see a bright star. You can see the International Space Station coming in. Unfortunately, I was leaning against a window and I slipped, as you can see, knocked it out of focus, turned it, stop record, push record again, and it was still out of focus. So I fumbled around trying to get it right. There you go. And you can see it's just cruising off to the right hand side there. So kind of gutted I messed that up, but not the end of the world. But still kind of cool to see. Wasn't expecting it at all. It was literally by complete chance that I happened to look out the window, grab the camera and look at, up there. So really cool. Here's a few shots. So this shot here is the 135 G Master, 5-second exposure, ISO 1000 and f1.8. So works really well. Really pleased with that. And people who say you can't use that 60 megapixel sensor in low light, well, okay, yeah, that's whatever you think. This shot here, again, a 30-second exposure this time, just to see the difference. Lots of motion blur. Stars have, obviously, we've rotated a little bit. The stars are now blurred, and also the Comet. Onto the 35mm f1.4 Samyang AF lens. This is shot at the Super 35 or crop mode, a little bit closer, and that was ISO 1000, 5-second exposure, and yeah, f1.4. Sorry, this is at the full frame, so not crop mode. Same settings. I was messing around with white balance and stuff as well, so just to see what the sky was doing. So it's changed colour slightly, but that worked quite well. As you can see, cropping in there. This shot here, basically went to the needle here. This is the sort of obelisk thing on the right there, and managed to capture this shot later on, about 2 hours later. Obviously we've rotated enough to get the stars in the right position, so I just sat there, chilled, watched the stars, watched a few shooting stars actually. It was kind of cool. There's a few asteroids blasted about. This is ISO 1000 on the Samyang 35mm f1.4 and a 5-second exposure. This shot here is with the 200 to 600 G lens, obviously 5.6 6.3, but in crop mode. So basically, I think around about 840mm that was. It's a little bit noisier because I was shooting at ISO 10,000 for that shot, but still a 5-second exposure. Yeah, this shot here is the 35mm f1.4 again, but I just did a sky shot. As you can see, there's a little bit of light pollution in the distance. There's town miles and miles away. It's just shining up, unfortunately, so that was a bit of a shame, but it still worked quite well. Still visible, and that is an ISO 1000, a 5-second exposure, f1.4 in non-crop mode, so full frame. But my favourite shot of the day, or evening, shall I say, or night time rather, was this shot here. So back to the obelisk here. This is the full shot. Obviously I've cropped the top and bottom off just because obviously it's at 16:9. But yeah, really worth doing that, and I'm so glad there was hay bales in the field, because the other week it was just grass. So they've actually obviously made the hay bales and everything. I'd like to say this was ISO 1000, f1.4 and a 5-second exposure. But really worth hanging about for. I wasn't going to do it, and I just thought, I'll stuff it. I need to go out and do it, because obviously everyone else has sort of been out and getting some really cool shots of it. So, but kind of a unique location, one of the highest points in East Sussex, and just really worth going to see, really. Unfortunately it's on private land, and there's only one viewing point, which is through a hedge. So I kind of like just set the camera up, left it there, and just sat in the road just looking up at the stars. It's a very quiet area, no one around at night time. In 2 hours didn't even see a car, so really cool. Like I say, perfect evening, hardly any wind, a couple of clouds in the sky, really clear view. So yeah, one of those things I think we're never going to see again in another 6,500 years or something like that. I think I'll be long gone by then. So hey guys, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the little notification bell, and obviously check out my other videos as well. I'm just about to do a Sony RX10 Mark IV shooting the Comet as well. Just a quick one because I just thought I'd try it out and see the sort of cons and pros of using that all-in-one camera with obviously the 600mm f4 lens. So check that out.